our discussion from our Lagos Network studios on the ITV network. I am Joshua Okata. As said, on the program this morning, we'll be talking about illegal migration, which in regards to the concern raised by the executive governor of Cross River State in the person of, Mr. Bassey Utu, who raised concern over the illegal migration going on within its state. And he said that such migration could be putting some sort of humanitarian burden on the state, given the fact that the state is currently grappling with limited or scarce resources. But the question now is, what actually is the cause of this irregular migration? Who are these migrants, by the way? And of course, what measures could be taken by the governor in terms of collaborative measures within the state government agency and of course NGOs to be able to deal with these issues? These and many more are the basis of our discussion this morning, and I'm being joined by my guest in the person of Ms. Bolaji Shote, who is a social affairs analyst and of course is right here to give us her 2 cents on the matter. Good morning, Ms. Bolaji, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now let's look at this issue about irregular migration. For the most part, this sort of challenge has been with us for a while as Nigerians, and I'm talking about for decades. So when you talk about illegal migration, to Nigerians who are very realistic enough, it's no news. But of course, why is the governor, I'm talking about the Cross River State Governor, Bassey Utu, reacting to this and raising alarm as if though it came to him as a surprise? Or was it a situation of hitting him differently?
All right, so let me just say that, there's a little bit of confusion here from what I understand what illegal migration is, and migration and then refugees, because yes, in his write-up that I read in the dailies, in the newspaper, in the same write-up he referred to them as refugees. Yes. And then he also mentioned migration. Let's be clear about this. Refugees are people that have been displaced, and I cannot recall that which we should have known that currently most of those people, I believe, they share boundary with the state, which most of them will be from Cameroon, I believe. I think he even mentioned that from Cameroon. So people coming in from right now in Cameroon, we can't really say that there is war going on in Cameroon, or there are tribal issues, or even like the ones that we have in Benue State going on. We have not, I'm sure the way the news goes on these days, we would have heard anything like that. So I think referring to these people who migrated into the state as refugees might be a little bit not correct. Let's say, because refugees are people that have either been displaced, whether there was war or tribal killings or anything like that. And then in terms of migration, migration is a global phenomenon. If there are people who migrate mostly, Nigerians are one of the biggest migrants in the world. And then even in Nigeria currently, we have different states that are prone to migration. Lagos State, for instance, people come in from Benin Republic, from Togo. In the northern part of Nigeria, you have people coming in from Chad, from Niger Republic, and all of those places that they are bounded by geographical locations and things like that. So I think maybe the right word to use might be migration. And these people are not, I don't believe that people who are coming into the state to carry out their daily activities, looking for economic opportunities, better opportunities for themselves, should be regarded as refugees.
Okay, so given the fact that, like I said earlier, we are not, new to the issue of, irregular migration, because given our geographical placement, we are, sharing borders with some of these African countries. So from time to time they come in. The question is, what is the reason for their movement into our country? What is the reason for their migration? It is given that When it comes to illegal migration, people do that for various reasons. It could be for social or economic reason. But first, let's even identify why this migration in itself is happening, especially from a border country like Cameroon coming into Cross River. What do you think could be the reason behind this before we identify what the individuals per se? But of course you've said that they are Cameroonians, but what is the reason behind it? Are they going through war, or what exactly is the reason influencing or informing this move into Cross River?
Okay, so let's just be very clear about it. I think it's Nigerians that don't see themselves amongst all the, is it West African countries, or even in Africa. People still see Nigeria as the same way Nigerians see going to the European countries, going to North America and the rest of all places where Nigerians jack battle. That is the way people in the countries surrounding Nigeria also see Nigeria as a land of opportunities that they are looking out for. So I think one of the reasons why those Cameroonians are coming into Nigeria, immigrating into Nigeria, is that they see Nigeria as a place where they can get economic opportunities, they can get social amenities, they can, become better, improve their career, get job opportunities, farming and what not, opportunities for tourism and things like that. And Cross River State is also known for tourism too as well. So I think that might be the main reason foiling them coming into those states, whether
so the issue about so the issue about the nomenclature. Now we're talking about irregular migration as opposed to what the governor calls refugees. So can we now safely establish that these are not refugees?
I want to believe so, that these people are not refugees, because there is nothing that has refugees are the term refugees are very clear. There are people that are running away from maybe persecution, tribal wars, political, whether they are political affiliations that they feel that they are being persecuted one way or the other, whether even for religion purposes or whatever it is. But clearly those people who are termed refugees must have been displaced. I'm not sure that these people are displaced. These people are willingly leaving their place to come and look for opportunities. And I will bring it back. I like to connect things. A lot of the Nigerians who are also leaving Nigeria, I don't think it's by their own volition to say, I'm looking for a better opportunity out of Nigeria. So I don't think, and I'm not sure that most Nigerians that are going to those countries are saying that they are refugees. They are immigrants. So I think the better word to use here would be to call them immigrants.
All right. So now that has been established. Now let's go into another issue.
All right.
The indigents of Cross River are complaining that there's been untold hardship on them as indigents, given the fact that these ones, to the tune of 50,000, are moving into Cross River to struggle with the limited resources that they are grappling with. Do you think this is fair enough?
Well, I think everything boils down to planning.
Okay.
I think for every state, we can take Lagos State for instance as a whole. People are migrating into Lagos State every day. I don't know what Lagos is going to be like for you and I in the next 10 years. I mean, we know how Lagos was in the last 10 years, and the kind of influx of people into the place. Internally, I am not sure that it can, within the country, there can be documentation about, unless we want people to start asking for visa and all of that. And then let me also state, I want to believe that with the kind of relationship Nigeria or Cross River, Nigeria through Cross River State that shares boundary, should have a way of documenting those people formally who come in and out of Nigeria. And I might want to believe that some of them even come in for like a period, do whatever business they want to do, those that are traders and things like that, do, or maybe they've come in for holidays, for tourism, do whatever they want to do and want to go leave the country. I'm sure there should be an appropriate legal way of documenting them, and those are the things that the government should look towards, ensuring that they know these people and how they're coming in and what they're coming in for, so that they can. But I mean, I think that will sort out the situation.
All right, now some reactions, especially from the people of Cross River, are complaining that not just having people coming in, they do next to nothing. So do you think that this poses a security threat, especially considering the fact that an idle man is the devil's workshop, as they say? So when these people come in and they don't get engaged, they stand to be a threat, especially when it comes to the survival instinct. So what's your thought on that?
Well, I think that if the state is considering looking at it in that perspective, they need to find a way to identify those people and also look towards in engaging them in social and economic activities going on in the states, rather than term them or ignore the fact that this is the reality of what is happening, and it's not peculiar to that state alone. And again, they can also have a discussion, collaborate. I believe a lot in collaboration. Put a word to other states that might be experiencing this, especially Lagos State, and say, how are you managing this? What is the provision that you're making? Again, it will be very good if states like that can begin to plan ahead, to say, oh, with where we are positioned, with our location, it's likely that we will have XYZ number of people coming into our states, and let's make provision to ensure that we can accommodate those people. In fact, you can actually use them to meet, to add more value, to create more value for them, so that they can add more value into your state, rather than become a burden or eventually become a threat to your state. That
even informs my next question, because some persons are of the opinion that there is a difference between vying for the office of the governor and, of course, vying for the job of the governor. So in this case, some persons are reacting, especially since the governor made that statement, that why are you complaining that you're having an influx of people to the tune of 50,000? What will states like Lagos say, where you have people coming in their thousands every day from all over the world, not just within Nigeria? What would you say to states like Borno, that is faced with immigrants from Niger Republic, Chad, and the rest of it? Are you bereft of the idea that is required to be able to source for resources that will cater to the state? Is that the issue the governor is dealing with? What exactly?
Well, I think I'm not in the governor's shoes, so I cannot say what exactly is dealing with, but I mean, based on the statement that he has made, and I think he also had a conversation saying with the International Organization for Migration, a meeting with their representative, to say what can they do to help and things like that. I think it might be great to take a step backwards and reflect first, and put the appropriate message that should go out there, and then begin to look for partnerships in how to plan with maybe non-governmental organizations, individuals that can help the state in ensuring that these people, or this influx of migration, in my own opinion, not refugees, moving into the states, and how they can be managed, and also create opportunities for not just those people but also for the state. Because if you the first step is to identify a problem and then look for solutions, and the solutions cannot be just temporary. They have to be things that you have to look at in the long run. Will this be sustainable?
So just pause there. Now, when you talk about engaging this person, because obviously, like you said, identifying a problem is one thing. Now, providing a workable solution that is not just for the immediate but the long term is the real issue. Now, what do you think at the immediate level, the mid-level, and the long-term level can there be in terms of a solution that will address the need of engaging these people so that they don't become a threat to the indigents of Cross River?
Okay, first of all, there needs to be proper definition and there needs to be proper documentation. Those are immediate. Because I'm sure that as this thing, the information that has gone out, these people, we live in a very global world now where information travels. Some of those people will be there. I'm not some of them are even aware I'm not a refugee. I just came here to look for opportunity.
No one would even claim he's a refugee.
Just like a Nigerian can go to Cameroon as well to look for opportunities. And if we do, it might not now just be in the proportion of which they are coming in. And for me, I'll look at it from the you can, when life gives you lemon, you make lemonade out of it.
That's true.
The state can begin to look at it. This will add more to us. Imagine if those people who come in, there are more farming activities. That means Cross River can make a lot more in terms of those places. Unless, of course, those people coming in are of threat to them, which I do not believe that they should be accepted. If people are coming into, that's a different story
you
altogether.
Have 50,000 persons who are a threat to you. So is the governor not also looking at the positive ends of that?
I think so. Those are what I'm trying to say, that those are the things that should be considered, how to make them create value around that particular challenge. And it will begin with proper documentation, like I said, and also looking at the economic returns of saying, oh, this population coming to us is a blessing in disguise. We can use those people for our farming. We can engage them. You can create jobs for them. And when you create jobs for them, because it will eventually then impact
on the GDP of the state,
rather than being in a state of helplessness. This has happened, we don't know what to do, we're just waiting, what next? You can begin to be proactive to make those solutions and put those things in place that can help you harness the opportunities. And I like to compare things so that you can see.
Please go ahead.
As much as a lot of people will see the negative side of, Nigeria is the one losing from brain drain in terms of Japa, where people are leaving Nigeria, but those countries are the ones gaining. There's a video that trended saying that if they recall the engineers, the doctors, the lawyers, the professionals that have left Nigeria and gone to other countries, when they pull them out of those places, it becomes a problem. So let's bring it back. It means that people who are migrating into a particular place are adding value to that place. But you need to create the value. In the United Kingdom, they're creating value for health workers, for nurses, for doctors, so that they can come in and help there. So rather than see it in a negative, he needs people that can advise him, who can see the bright side of things from this influx of migration. I think that would help a lot.
In fact, you made a very brilliant point when you talk about the issue of brain drain, because Nigeria at large has been at the losing end when it comes to brain drain. Countries gain our professionals and it adds to their GDP. So why can't we look at it from that perspective? It also speaks to what some people say, that to a large extent, we've always had sycophants or sycophants, as the case may be, of persons who are surrounded by the governor. Now, the issue now is this. At the level of registering these people, some Cross Riverians have put the blame at the doorstep of our officers, especially the custom at the road. So what do you think government can do at that level of knowing who is coming in, how documented they are before they can be allowed in? Information has it that they are even bribed, sometimes 1,000, sometimes 5,000, just to allow them in. So what do you think could be done at that level, especially at the road, before they gain entrance, into our country? All right.
So a lot that is going to help will be in terms of having the right people in the leadership of those places. Obviously, there might be leadership capabilities or deficiencies in those areas. And then another thing that could help is technology. It will be an enabler, because we can see even in Nigeria places where there's been reduction in corruption, in all of those horrible stories that
compromises.
It has been largely reduced by technology.
True.
Because you can't cheat a system that is running by itself. And you know, even with the influx of with the advent rather of AI and things like that, you can begin to, you know, work with organizations, use of software that automatically reduces this lack of documentation, so to speak. So you can know that within XYZ X number of people entered without human intervention, and also be able to know, or let's say with little or no or where people cannot manipulate the system.
Yes.
And then be able to say at XYZ period as well, other people to leave the place. Let's ask a question. If we're complaining about these issues about people entering through the borders, why don't we have that at the airports? That's what we should ask ourselves, because there are proper documentation that people must go through before you can enter into the country. So I think they can take a cue from that to say whatever they're doing in the airspace, or they can do it through
land borders.
Yeah, on land, not only land border, even the sea as well, just to be able to be sure of the people that are coming into your country, and that would aid planning. Once he aids planning, he aids even how you set your budget, all the things, your strategic thinking as a state, as a nation too, to say, oh, it's likely that this is the growth rate that we've had over a period of time, let's say in the last 6 months, in the next 1 year, and you can also predict
or project
predict or project what is likely to come. And then when you do that, it's not when you see that, oh, 20 people came in, 50 people, 50,000 people. If we're not careful, by next year the governor might come to say there are over 2 million now. You need to be able to do some sort of analysis that can let you know that there is likely to be more people. Maybe they are seeing opportunities in the state, which is why they are coming there. And you have to also see it from both sides, so that it can work for everybody, and it can be to your own advantage and benefit at the end of the day.
Can we say that the governor is being more reactive than proactive? Because it looks like, as it were, he's only waiting for an event to occur before he reacts. What's your thought on that?
Well, I don't know. I try to err on the side of caution, because I'm not in his place and I don't know what it. But I just feel that I think there needs to be a lot more objectivity. That's what I'm going to call it, objectivity, without sentiments in putting out things as they are, so that people can really identify. Because when you're not objective enough, it gives a counterproductive results, which is why people are now saying, why are you saying all of these things and things like that? And I think that might not help just the governor alone, but people in leadership generally. If you're in a leadership position, a leader should be visionary, a leader should be decisive, a leader should plan strategically. A leader should see ahead and begin to plan towards it. And I think that will benefit leaders, even not just the governor, but all the people surrounding him, and even leaders in different spheres. I will look at this kind of situation that is coming out. Business owners, even in Cross River State, can begin to look at those opportunities for them to say, oh, people are coming in. Let me give you an instance. These days, more people will not want to go to Cross River. Nigerians who are living in Nigeria may not want to go and take jobs in Cross River State. But there are people willing from Cameroon coming to take that job. Why not look at that as an opportunity and embrace it, to say, if we are losing that, the people in Lagos Lagosians don't want to leave Lagos. People in and these are people that we are seeing who are coming on board to say, we want to stay we want to be here. I think it should be considered in a positive light rather than the negative.
You know, it reminds me of a statement that went viral of a certain leader who said, "Na statistics will go chop." So a nation that do not, you know, have a plan as to how the population grows, how can they cater to, you know, an emergency such as this? Now, this brings me to my next question. Largely, the Cross Riverians have been very hospitable and peaceful. I could remember sometime, you know, let's just say about 10 years ago, when we had a governor who tried to make the state very hospitable in terms of making it a tourism location. The state has kept that trademark for a while. What do you think other neighboring states can borrow as a leaf, given what Cross Riverians are known largely for?
Okay, so for me, I'm not even sure that the hospitality that I've not been to Cross River State, but I mean, I have very close people who have been there, and people are just saying that these things are there, but they are not really being utilized, so to speak. Yes, and I say that with all sense of knowledge of people firsthand who have gone there. All those nice places, Obudukatu Ranch and all of those places, they are almost like a ghost of themselves. They are not being maintained and things like that. I think the government can focus more on those areas to attract opportunities, to attract and when they attract those opportunities, these immigrants will be very useful in helping you move to the next level and even generating IGR for the state. And then also in partnering with organizations who are ready to you know, bring on board what they have to offer, will go a very long way in helping the state using data of predictive analytics of saying what is likely to happen. I think that will help a lot.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bolaji Shote, Social Affairs Analyst, for giving us your exhaustive explanation to this fact. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.